Iron Man 3 is a 2013 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Iron Man, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It is the sequel to Iron Man, 2008, and Iron Man 2, 2010, and the seventh film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. The film was directed by Shane Black from a screenplay he co-wrote with Drew Pearce, and stars Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark/Iron Man alongside Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Guy Pearce, Rebecca Hall, Stéphanie Szostak, James Badge Dale, William Sadler, Miguel Ferrer, Jon Favreau, and Ben Kingsley. In the film, Stark grapples with the consequences of the events of the Avengers, 2012, during a national terrorism campaign on the United States led by the mysterious Mandarin. After the release of Iron Man 2 in May 2010, director Jon Favreau chose not to direct the third film. Black was hired to write and direct the sequel in February 2011, working with Pearce to make the script more character-centric, focus on thriller elements, and use concepts from Warren Ellis's Extremis comic book story arc. The film's supporting cast, including Kingsley, Pearce, and Hall, were brought on throughout April and May 2012. Filming took place from May 23 to December 17, 2012, primarily at EUE/Screen Gems Studios in Wilmington, North Carolina. Additional filming took place around North Carolina as well as in Florida, Los Angeles, and China. An extended version of the film specifically for Chinese audiences was created. 17 companies provided the film's visual effects. Iron Man 3 premiered at the Grand Rex in Paris on April 14, 2013, and was released in the United States on May 3, as the first film in Phase 2 of the MCU. It received positive reviews from critics, with praise for its action sequences, Black's direction, and Downey's performance, though there was criticism for the portrayal of the Mandarin. The film was a box office success, grossing over $1.215 billion worldwide, making it the second highest grossing film of 2013 and the 16th film to gross over $1 billion. It finished its theatrical run as the fifth highest grossing film of all time, while its opening weekend was the sixth highest of all time. The film received Best Visual Effects nominations at the Academy Awards and the BAFTA Awards. Plot: at a New Year's Eve party in 1999, Tony Stark meets scientist Maya Hansen, the inventor of Extremis, an experimental regenerative treatment that allows recovery from crippling injuries. Disabled scientist Aldrich Killian offers them a place in his company Advanced Idea Mechanics, AIM, but Stark rejects him. 13 years later, Stark is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and has frequent panic attacks due to his experiences during the alien invasion of New York. He has built dozens of new Iron Man suits to cope with his insomnia, creating friction with his girlfriend Pepper Potts. Meanwhile, a string of bombings is claimed by a terrorist known as the Mandarin. Stark's security chief Happy Hogan is badly injured in one such attack and is put into a coma, prompting Stark to issue a televised threat to the Mandarin, revealing his home address in the process. The Mandarin sends gunship helicopters to destroy Stark's home. Hansen, who came to warn Stark, survives the attack with Potts. Stark escapes in an experimental new Iron Man suit, which his artificial intelligence JARVIS pilots to rural Tennessee, following a flight plan from Stark's investigation into the Mandarin. Stark's new armor is not fully functional and lacks sufficient power to return to Malibu, leading the world to believe that he died. With the help of Harley Keener, a local boy, Stark investigates the remains of a local explosion bearing the hallmarks of a Mandarin attack. However, it occurred years before any known attack by a terrorist. He discovers the bombings were triggered by soldiers subjected to Extremis whose bodies explosively rejected the treatment, and were falsely attributed by AIM as a terrorist plot to cover up Extremis flaws. Stark witnesses Extremis firsthand when Mandarin agents Sabin and Brandt attack him. Stark kills Brandt and incapacitates Sabin. Meanwhile, Killian resurfaces and kidnaps Potts with assistance from Hansen. American intelligence agencies continue to search for the Mandarin, with James Rhodes, the former War Machine, now rebranded as the Iron Patriot, lured into a trap to steal his armor. Tracing the Mandarin to Miami, Stark infiltrates his headquarters using improvised weapons. Inside, he discovers the Mandarin is English actor Trevor Slattery, who is oblivious to the actions carried out in his image. Killian, the mastermind behind Slattery's cover, then captures Stark. Killian, who appropriated Hansen's extremist research as a cure for his own disability and expanded the program to include injured war veterans, reveals he has subjected Potts to extremists in the hope Stark will help fix extremist flaws while trying to save her. When Hansen betrays Killian by threatening to jeopardize his operations, Killian kills her. Stark escapes and reunites with Rhodes, discovering that Killian intends to attack President Ellis aboard Air Force One, using the Iron Patriot armor, controlled by Sabin. Stark kills Sabin, saving the passengers and crew, but cannot stop Killian from abducting Ellis. At an impounded damaged oil tanker, Killian intends to kill Ellis on live television, so that the vice president would then become a puppet leader following Killian's orders, in exchange for extremists curing his young daughter's disability. Stark and Rhodes infiltrate the platform, aided by the Iron Man suits, remotely controlled by JARVIS. Rhodes secures the president and takes him to safety, while Stark discovers Potts has survived the extremist procedure. Before he can save her, a rig collapses around them, and she falls to the platform to her apparent death. Stark fights Killian but finds himself cornered. Potts, whose extremist powers allowed her to survive the fall, kills Killian to save Stark. As a gesture of his devotion to Potts, Stark orders JARVIS to destroy all the Iron Man suits. The Vice President and Slattery are arrested, and Happy awakens from his coma. With Stark's help, Potts's extremist effects are stabilized. Stark promises to scale back his life as Iron Man, undergoing surgery to remove the shrapnel near his heart and throwing his obsolete chest arc reactor into the sea. He muses that, even without the technology, he will always be Iron Man. Cast: Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark/Iron Man. An Avenger and a self-described genius, billionaire, playboy, and philanthropist with mechanical suits of armor of his own invention. Stark now struggles to come to terms with his near-death experience in the Avengers, 2012,78, suffering from anxiety attacks. On making a third Iron Man film, Downey said, "My sense of it is that we need to leave it all on the field, whatever that means in the end. You can pick several different points of departure for that." 9 On following up the Avengers, Downey said they tried to be practical, in a post-Avengers world. What are his challenges now? What are some limitations that might be placed on him? And what sort of threat would have him, as usual, ignore those limitations? 10. Screenwriter Drew Pearce compared Tony to an American James Bond for both being heroes with a sense of danger to them, and unpredictability, even if Stark was a free agent instead of an authority figure like Bond. He also likened Tony to the protagonists of 1970s films such as The French Connection, 1971, where the idiosyncrasies of the heroes is what made them exciting. 11. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. Stark's girlfriend, longtime associate, and the current CEO of Stark Industries. 712 Paltrow says of her character's relationship to Tony, "She still adores Tony, but she absolutely gets fed up with him. He gets caught in a feedback loop." 13. Kevin Feige commented on Pepper's role in the film, "The love triangle in this movie is really between Tony, Pepper, and the suits. Tony, Pepper, and his obsession with those suits, and the obsession with technology." Feige also stated the film uses the character to play with the damsel in distress trope, and posits the question, is Pepper in danger or is Pepper the savior? 14. Don Cheadle as James Rhodey Rhodes/Iron Patriot. Stark's best friend and the liaison between Stark Industries and the U.S. Air Force in the Department of Acquisitions. Rhodes operates the redesigned/upgraded War Machine armor, taking on an American flag-inspired color scheme similar to the Iron Patriot armor from the comics. 8 set of roads and the armor. The notion in the movie is that a red, white, and blue suit is a bold statement, and it's meant to be. With Rhodey, he's very much the foil to Tony's eccentricities, and in this one you get to see this and be reminded of the trust and friendship between them in that great Shane Black buddy cop fashion. 15 in the film, the president asks Rhodey to take up the moniker Iron Patriot, and don the red, white, and blue suit, in order to be the government's American hero in response to the events in the Avengers. 16. Guy Pearce as Aldrich Killian. The creator of the extremist virus 17 and the founder and owner of the science and development organization Advanced Idea Mechanics 18, who adopts the mantle of the Mandarin as his own. 1920 Killian develops extremis to cure his own debilitating disability. In addition to his regenerative healing qualities, he has superhuman strength and the ability to generate extreme heat. Prolonged exposure to extremis also grants him the ability to breathe fire. Pearce felt he was a little more experimental in the roles he was taking in his career, and was not keen on appearing in a superhero film, but felt his role in this film was cameo stuff, which was a more enjoyable experience because he was working in concentrated spurts. 21 Pearce described Killian as a man with physical disabilities who has never been able to accept those limitations and works to overcome them, continuing, his tenacity and blind determination in fighting for a better life are seen by some as irritating, as he often comes across as obnoxious. 18. Black felt that Pearce ultimately is the Mandarin in the film, and that Marvel worked with him to come up with these crazy things, these far-out ideas that divert from established expectations from the comics. 19. Rebecca Hall as Maya Hansen. A geneticist whose work helped Killian create extremis. 8/22/23 Hall said Hansen would be a strong female character, and described her decision to take the role, saying, "I decided to do Iron Man 3 because I've never done the hurry up and wait movie before. Even the studio movies I've done have been small studio movies, or indie films that we made on a wing and a prayer. I love those, but Iron Man is refreshing in a way because it's something out of my realm of experiences." 24 Hall confirmed her character's role was greatly reduced in the final film, saying, "I signed on to do something that was a substantial role. She wasn't entirely the villain. There have been several phases of this, but I signed on to do something very different to what I ended up doing." 25. Stéphanie Szostak as Ellen Brandt. A war veteran who becomes an assassin after her exposure to extremis. 8/26 describing Brandt, Szostak says, "Extremis was a second chance at life. We talked about what you feel like, and I think it almost makes you a fuller version of who you are. All your weakness and your qualities, just everything gets enhanced. I saw it as very freeing, almost you become your true self and your fantasy self all at once." 27 The writers originally envisioned Brandt as Killian's main henchman, who would return throughout the film to fight Tony, but eventually, that role was reassigned to Eric Sabin. 28. James Badge Dale as Eric Sabin. Killian's extremis-powered henchman. 8/29 Dale stated that his character in the film was loosely based on the comic version of the character. 30 According to Dale, Ben Kingsley is the mouthpiece. Guy Pearce is the brain. I'm the muscle. 31. William Sadler as Matthew Ellis. 26/32 The President of the United States, named after Warren Ellis, who wrote the Extremis comics arc that primarily influenced the film's story. 33. Miguel Ferrer as Rodriguez, the Vice President of the United States. 34. Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. Tony Stark's former bodyguard and chauffeur who now serves as Stark Industries' head of security department. Favreau, who served as both actor and director on the previous 2 Iron Man films, said participating in the new film was like being a proud grandfather who doesn't have to change the diapers but gets to play with the baby. 35. Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery. A British actor who Killian hired to portray the Mandarin, a terrorist persona in jam television broadcasts in which he is depicted as the leader of the international terrorist organization The Ten Rings. 36 Kingsley was filming Ender's Game, 2013, when he was cast, and said that, "Quite soon I'll be with everybody and we'll be discussing the look and the feel and the direction of the character. It's very early days yet, but I'm so thrilled to be on board." 37 On his performance, Kingsley stated, "I wanted a voice that would disconcert a Western audience. I wanted a voice that would sound far more homegrown and familiar, a familiarity like a teacher's voice or a preacher's voice. The rhythms and tones of an earnest, almost benign, teacher trying to educate people for their own good." 38 The Mandarin was initially set to appear in the first Iron Man film, but he was put off for a sequel as the filmmakers felt that he was too ambitious for a first film. 39 On the character, Feige stated, "The Mandarin is Iron Man's most famous foe in the comics mainly because he's been around the longest. If you look, there's not necessarily a definitive Mandarin storyline in the comics. So it was really about having an idea." 15 Black explains Kingsley's Mandarin is not Chinese in the film as he is in the comics in order to avoid the Fu Manchu stereotype. "We're not saying he's Chinese, we're saying he, in fact, draws a cloak around him of Chinese symbols and dragons because it represents his obsessions with Sun Tzu in various ancient arts of warfare that he studied." The filmmakers also cited Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now, 1979, as an influence for the character. 40 The videos where the Mandarin gives historical background to the attacks expressed how it emerged as the product of a think tank of people trying to create a modern terrorist. 28 Thus the Mandarin represents every terrorist in a way, from South American insurgency tactics to the videos of Osama bin Laden. 40 Paul Bettany reprises his role from previous films as Jarvis, Stark's AI system. 26 Ty Simpkins portrays Harley Keener, a child who lives in Rose Hill, Tennessee, who assists Stark when the latter breaks into his garage in order to repair his suit. He later helps Stark investigate various incidents associated with the Extremis project, and afterwards he is rewarded by Stark with a garage full of modern engineering tools and equipment. 41 26 Simpkins reprises his role as Harley in a cameo appearance in Avengers, Endgame, 2019. Simpkins has stated that he has a 3-picture deal with Marvel Studios. 42 Ashley Hamilton portrays Taggart, one of the Extremis soldiers. 43 Adam Pally plays Gary, a cameraman who helps Stark. 44 Sean Tubb reprises his role as Ho Yinsen from the first Iron Man, 2008, film in a brief cameo. 45 and Stan Lee makes a cameo appearance as a beauty pageant judge. 46 Dale Dickey plays Mrs. Davis, mother of an Extremis subject that is framed as a terrorist. 47 Wang Sweki briefly plays Dr. Wu in the general release version of the film. 48 A cut of the film produced for release exclusively in China includes additional scenes featuring Wang and an appearance by Fan Bingbing as one of his assistants. 49 50 Jenna Ortega briefly appears uncredited as the vice president's daughter. Her lines were cut from the final film. 51 Mark Ruffalo makes an uncredited cameo appearance, reprising his role as Bruce Banner from the Avengers, in a post-credits scene. 52 Comedians Bill Maher and Joan Rivers 53 54 and Fashion Police, 2010 to 2017, co-host George Katsiopoulos have cameo appearances as themselves on their respective real-world television programs. 55 as do newscasters Josh Elliott 56 Megan Henderson 57 Pat Kiernan 58 and Thomas Roberts. 59 Production Development. Truthfully, the way to go about doing a part 3, if you're ever in that position, as I'm lucky enough to be, is to find a way that the first 2 weren't done yet. You have to find a way to make sure that the story that's emerging is still ongoing and, by the time you've finished 3, will be something resembling the culmination of a trilogy. It's about, how has the story not yet been completely told, and I think we're getting there. I think we've really found ways to make this feel organic and new, based on what's come before, and that's what I'm happy about. Shane Black, director of Iron Man 3, on the film. 10. Following the release of Iron Man 2, 2010, a conflict between Paramount Pictures, which had distribution rights to certain Marvel Comics properties, and the Walt Disney Company, Marvel Entertainment's then new corporate parent, clouded the timing and the distribution arrangement of a possible third film. 60. On October 18, 2010, Walt Disney Studios agreed to pay Paramount at least $115 million for the worldwide distribution rights to Iron Man 361, with Disney, Marvel, and Paramount announcing a May 3, 2013, release date for the film. 62. Iron Man, 2008, and Iron Man 2 director Jon Favreau said in December 2010 that he would not direct Iron Man 3, opting to direct Magic Kingdom instead. He remained an executive producer of director Joss Whedon's crossover film The Avengers, 2012, and also served as an executive producer of Iron Man 3. 63-64. Also in 2010, Downey reached out to Shane Black, who directed him in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, 2005, to write and direct the film. 65. In February 2011, Black entered final negotiations to join the project. 66-67. And in March it was announced that Drew Pearce, who Marvel had originally hired for a Runaways script, would work with Black on the script. 68. Downey said, "Bringing in Shane Black to write and direct Iron Man 3 to me is basically the only transition from Favreau to a next thing that Favreau and the audience and Marvel and I could ever actually sign off on." 9. Black was initially hesitant to work with Pearce on the film, preferring to work with a writing partner of his own, but after a week of discussing the film and getting to know one another, agreed to write the film with Pearce. 69, 207. Writing. Black described his take on the film as not being two men in iron suits fighting each other, and more like a Tom Clancy thriller, with Iron Man fighting real-world type villains. 67. Pearce added that they would avoid magic and space, with Iron Man 3 being a techno-thriller set in a more real world than even the Avengers. The duo spent some time discussing themes and images and ideas before starting the script. 11. While writing, the focus was to avoid scenes of pure exposition, making every moment propel other narrative points forward. Some elements from the comics were used even if in different connotations, such as making Rhodes wear Norman Osborn's Iron Patriot armor and naming some characters with names from unrelated people in the Marvel Universe, such as Eric Saban and Jack Taggart. 28. The film's plot is influenced primarily by the Extremis, 2005 to 2006, comics storyline, written by Warren Ellis. 33. The first two acts would remain character-centric, albeit in Black's words more hectic, frenetic, and large-scale to fulfill its sequel obligations, with the third act going for more over-the-top action to what Pearce described as giving a sense of opera. The middle act was compared to Sullivan's Travels, 1941, in having Tony meeting various people on his journey, and the writers made sure to not make the characters too similar. The initial draft had Maya Hansen herself leading the villainous operation, with the Mandarin and Killian emerging as antagonists in later versions of the script. During one of the writing sessions, Pearce suggested that the Mandarin was a fake, and Black agreed by going with making him an actor, which in turn Pearce detailed as an overacting British stage performer. Black explained, "Who would be fool enough to declare that he is an international terrorist? If you're smart, whatever regime you're part of, you'd put a puppet committee and remain your house." In turn Killian would hide Trevor Slattery in his own frat house, in kind of a drug-related house arrest to keep the secret alive. 28. According to Black, the reveal of the actual villain being Hansen was like Remington Steele, 1982 to 1987, you think it's the man but at the end, the woman has been running the whole show. The role was eventually shifted to Killian because of objections by Marvel Entertainment executives, who were concerned with apparent merchandising losses that could come with having a female villain. The roles of several other major female characters were also made smaller in the final film compared to earlier drafts. 70. Both the opening and the ending of the film were reworked in various ways. First, it would begin with a flashback to Tony's childhood. Then, like Iron Man, it would begin in medias res, with Tony crashing in Tennessee before a voiceover that would lead to how he got there, until it got changed to the final version. For the climactic tanker battle, it was originally considered that Brandt would show up in the James Bond tradition of the henchmen coming back for the heroes. Instead, they chose to use Killian himself, and have Pepper, whom he abused earlier, cause his downfall as a way of poetic justice. The final dialogue was originally written as "I am Tony Stark" to be a response to the first film's ending, but eventually it changed to "I am Iron Man" to enhance the mythical qualities. 28 On setting the film around Christmas, Black said, "I think it's a sense of if you're doing something on an interesting scale that involves an entire universe of characters, one way to unite them is to have them all undergo a common experience. There's something at Christmas that unites everybody, and it already sets a stage within the stage, that wherever you are, you're experiencing this world together. I think that also there's something just pleasing about it to me." Pearce added that he would have wanted to see a third Iron Man film set at Christmas, adding that when you're telling a story about taking characters apart, it almost has more resonance if you put it at Christmas, and if you're also telling a story about lonelier characters as well. That loneliness is heightened at Christmas. Black also felt the character Harley Keener embodied the ghost of Christmas past for Stark. 71. Pre-production. In September 2011, Marvel Studios reached an agreement to shoot the film primarily out of EUE/Screen Gem Studios in Wilmington, North Carolina. Michigan was also in contention to land the production, but the Michigan Film Office could not match North Carolina's tax incentives. 72 In April 2012, Ben Kingsley entered into negotiations to play a villain in Iron Man 3. 73 A part which Anthony Mackie, who would later portray Sam Wilson in the MCU, also auditioned for. 74 The following week, producer Kevin Feige revealed that Iron Man 3 would begin shooting in North Carolina in 5 weeks, and said that it is a full-on Tony Stark-centric movie, very much inspired by the first half of Iron Man. He's stripped of everything, he's backed up against a wall, and he's gotta use his intelligence to get out of it. He can't call Thor, he can't call Cap, he can't call Nick Fury, and he can't look for the helicarrier in the sky. 75. A few days later, the Walt Disney Company China, Marvel Studios, and DMG Entertainment announced an agreement to co-produce Iron Man 3 in China. DMG partly financed, produced in China with Marvel, and handled co-production matters. DMG also distributed the film in China in tandem with Disney. 76-77 DMG had been pitching Marvel Studios on collaboration opportunities to enhance the film for the Chinese market. Initially, they suggested that Harley Keener be a Chinese exchange student, something Marvel Studios co-president Luis D. Esposito shot down since they did not want the film to feature the sidekick from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, 1984. Instead, Feige suggested a doctor named Dr. Wu, in reference to the Steely Dan song, who could remove the shrapnel from Stark's chest. 69. 210 Chinese star Andy Lau became involved in negotiations to join the film in that role. 78 Lau would later turn down the role, and Wang Sweki was cast instead. 79-48. The next week, Guy Pearce entered into final talks to play Aldrich Killian, a character who is featured in the Extremis comic book story arc. 18 Jessica Chastain entered into discussions for a role in the film 80 but bowed out due to scheduling conflicts. 22 In May, Rebecca Hall was cast in her place 22 and her role was described as a scientist who plays a pivotal role in the creation of a nanotechnology, known as Extremis. 23 Over the next few weeks, James Badge Dale was cast as Eric Savin. 29 Ashley Hamilton was cast as Firepower. 43 and Favreau returned to reprise his role as Happy Hogan from the first 2 films. 81 Stéphanie Szostak and William Sadler were also cast in the film, with Sadler playing the President of the United States. 3282. Despite early reports that Cobie Smulders would reprise her role as Maria Hill from the Avengers in the film 83, Smulders wrote on her verified Twitter page that this was not true, and the confusion may have been due to the fact that she was filming for Safe Haven, also in North Carolina. 84. According to Drew Pearce, Emilia Clarke was initially cast for an unknown role, before the script was changed. 85. Filming. Filming began in Wilmington, North Carolina, on May 23, 2012, at EUE/Screen Gem Studios. 86. With the working title Caged Heat. 87. Cinematographer John Toll opted to work with digital cameras for the first time in his career, as he found them more convenient for a visual effects heavy production. Toll shot the film primarily on the ARRI Alexa camera. 88. From June 4 through June 6, 2012, filming took place in Cary, North Carolina, at the Epic Games headquarters. 89. And SAS Institute. 90. With a large Christmas tree set up on the front lawn. 91. A scene was also shot at the Wilmington International Airport. 86. The port of Wilmington served as a location for the oil tanker in the climactic battle, along with a soundstage recreation of the dock. 28. The crumbling house itself was filmed in a hydraulic-powered Giabo platform that could bend and split into two pieces. All the interior footage had practical effects, including debris and explosions, with computer graphics used only to add exteriors and Iron Man's armor. 92. 93. From July 19 to August 1, 2012, filming took place on Oak Island, North Carolina, to film aerial drops over the Atlantic Ocean. 94. They were done for the scene where Iron Man rescues the people falling from the Air Force One over Miami, which were originally envisioned done with green screen effects, but were changed to using actual skydivers, as second unit director Brian Smrz knew the Red Bull skydiving team. Computer graphics were employed only to add clouds, the destroyed plane and matte paintings of the Florida coastline in the background, replace a stand-in with the Iron Man armor, and some digital compositing to combine different takes of the skydivers together. 95. Filming took place in Rose Hill, North Carolina, in early August 2012. 96. And the town's name was incorporated into the script as the Tennessee city Stark visits. 93. On August 14, actress Dale Dickey said she had been cast in the film, and was currently shooting her scenes. 47. The following day, production was halted when Downey suffered an ankle injury. 97. During the break, Black and Pearce made more script revisions before shooting resumed by August 24. 98. 99. Cast and crew began arriving in Florida on October 1 to shoot scenes on Dania Beach and around South Florida. 100. That same day, Downey returned to the set after his ankle injury. 101. In early October, scenes were shot at a replica of the Malibu restaurant Neptune's Net. 102. And filming took place on location at the Vizcaya Museum and Gardens. 103. Scenes were shot during the daytime inside the Miami Beach Resort at Miami Beach on October 10 and 11. 104. The production returned to Wilmington in mid-October for additional filming. 105. On November 1, scenes were shot at the Vizcaya Museum and Gardens. 106. Filming in the United States wrapped on November 7 in Wilmington. 107. Filming began in Beijing, China on December 10. Filming was scheduled to wrap a week later on December 17, 2012. 48. The China filming did not include the main cast and crew. 107. In January 2013, it was reported that a film crew led by Shane Black would begin location scouting in Hyderabad and Bengaluru, India between January 20 and 24. 108. Also in January, Cheadle confirmed that reshooting was taking place in Manhattan Beach. 109. Shooting also took place on the week of January 23, 2013, at TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood. 110. A major part of the content filmed in the reshoots regarded the Mandarin, with Drew Pearce saying that in early cuts, the character didn't feel real enough. There wasn't a sense of him being part of the real world, mostly because he was just looking down a lens and threatening the world. 11. A report on actual production costs for films from FilmL.A. Inc. indicated a gross budget of $200 million, with a net of $178.4 million for Iron Man 3 after tax incentives from North Carolina and Florida. 2. Post-production. Previsualization of the Mark 42 armor, top, and the completed shot, bottom. Chris Townsend served as visual effects supervisor for the film, which featured over 2,000 visual effects shots and was worked on by 17 studios, including Weta Digital, Digital Domain, Scanline VFX, Treater, Framestore, Luma Pictures, Fuel VFX, Cantina Creative, Cinesight, The Embassy Visual Effects, Lola Visual Effects, Capital T, Prologue, and Rise FX. 92 Townsend said that from January 2013 through the end of filming in April, the collective crew had 1 day of downtime, otherwise working 7 days a week and 14 to 18 hours a day. 111. Digital Domain, Scanline VFX, and Treater each worked on separate shots featuring the Mark 42 armor, working with different digital models. The studios shared some of their files to ensure consistency between the shots. For the Mark 42 and Iron Patriot armors, Legacy Effects constructed partial suits that were worn on set. Townsend explained that invariably we'd shoot a soft suit with Robert, then we'd also put tracking markers on his trousers. He would also wear lifts in his shoes or be up in a box so he'd be the correct height. Iron Man is 6 feet 5 inches. During shooting we used multiple witness cams, Canon C300S, and we had 2 or 3 running whenever there was an Iron Man or Extremis character. The artists studied time-lapse photography of decaying fruit and vegetables and actual phenomena such as the aurora borealis as reference for the effect of the glowing Extremis characters. 92 The heads-up display features of the helmet were inspired by visualization techniques from MRI diagnostic pattern recognition and graph theory, particularly by the connectogram, a circular graph that maps all of the white matter connections of the human brain. 112. The film's production was delayed following Downey's leg injury, and for certain shots they were forced to create a double for Downey. Townsend explained that the collective VFX supervisors and unit leads ran into a room as soon as the incident happened to try to ascertain what sequences could they shoot. Certain shots were filmed with a body double on set, and Weta Digital created a digital body double for others. 111. A total of 3 hours and 15 minutes of footage were shot before editing, where it was brought down to 130 minutes, 119 without the credits, 28 marking the longest standalone Iron Man film. 33 Post-production also had a 3D conversion 113 and a digital remaster for the IMAX release. 114 Todd Ayo mixed the sound in Dolby Atmos to enhance the immersive experience. 115 Trevor Slattery was originally meant to die in the film, appearing during the climatic oil rig battle with an Extremis injector and promptly blowing up after taking it. Pearce said that was the most Monty Python of all of the beats in the film. During the editing process, it was determined to keep Slattery alive, with new material shot during the reshoots to accommodate this. 116. Music. Further information, Iron Man 3, soundtrack. The film is scored by Brian Tyler, who signed on in October 2012. 117 According to Tyler, he was approached more for his thematic scores such as The Greatest Game Ever Played, Annapolis, and Partition rather than his modern action scores such as the Fast and Furious films, with Kevin Feige asking for a theme that was recognizable and featured those dramatic tones. 118 To employ the deeply thematic component with a strong melody, the score employs mostly orchestra sounds. The main theme for Iron Man focuses on horns and trumpets. 119 To be both a march and anthem. Tyler mentioned that John Williams' work on Raiders of the Lost Ark was the first thing he thought of as an influence, and the cue for the Well of Souls in Raiders influenced the Extremis motif, as Tyler felt it should enhance a spiritual side for having a technology so advanced that nears magic. Echoing the Mandarin's amalgamated personality, his theme was religious music that borrows from many cultures, from monastic, Gothic, and Christian chants to music from the Middle East. 118. The score was recorded with the London Philharmonic Orchestra at Abbey Road Studios. 119. Along with Tyler's soundtrack album, Hollywood Records released a concept album inspired by the film, Heroes Fall. It features 12 original alternative rock and indie rock songs, with only one appearing in the film itself, AWOL Nation's Some Kind of Joke. 120. Marketing. In July 2012, at San Diego Comic-Con, a new Iron Man armor from the film, the Mark XLII, was on display on the convention floor, along with the Mark's I-7 from the first two Iron Man films and the Avengers. 121. A panel was held, during which Shane Black, Robert Downey Jr., Don Cheadle, Jon Favreau, and Kevin Feige discussed making the film, and several minutes of footage from the film were shown. 35. The first television advertisement aired during Super Bowl 47 on the CBS network in the United States. 122. On March 25, 2013, Marvel and Disney revealed on the official Iron Man Facebook page, Iron Man 3, Armor Unlock, to reveal suits Stark has made before the events of the film. 123. In January 2013, Marvel Comics released a 2-issue comic book prelude by writers Christos Gage and Will Corona Pilgrim with art by Steve Kurth and Drew Pearce. The story set between the second and third Iron Man films centers on War Machine, revealing why he was absent during the battle in New York of the Avengers. 124. Like with the first two films, Audi again provided product placement with various vehicles. 125. Oracle also returned from Iron Man 2, showcasing both the Oracle Cloud and the Oracle Exadata server. 126. Verizon FiOS and TCL's flat panel televisions and Alcatel One Touch smartphones are also featured in the film. 127. And the Chinese cut also shows a Zoom Lion Crane and Ely Milk. 128. Promotional deals were arranged with Subway and the Schwan Food Company. 127. And tie-ins included Lego sets. 129. Hasbro action figures. 130. And a mobile phone game by Gameloft. 131. Disney also promoted the film at its domestic theme parks. Disneyland's Innoventions attraction received a Stark Industries exhibit beginning April 13, and Monorail Black of the Walt Disney World monorail system was given an exterior Iron Man scheme. 132. 133. The exhibit, entitled Iron Man Tech presented by Stark Industries, features the same armor display that was shown at the 2012 San Diego Comic-Con, with the Mark's I-7 and the new Mark XLII. In addition, there is a simulator game, titled Become Iron Man, that uses Kinect-like technology to allow the viewer to be encased in an animated Mark XLII armor and take part in a series of tests, in which you fire repulsor rays and fly through Tony Stark's workshop. The game is guided by Jarvis, who is voiced again by Paul Bettany. The exhibit also has smaller displays that include helmets and chest pieces from the earlier films and the gauntlet and boot from an action sequence in Iron Man 3. 134. All in all, Disney spent $131 million marketing the film worldwide. 135. Release. Theatrical. Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow in Paris at the film's French premiere at the Grand Rex, April 2013. Iron Man 3 was distributed worldwide by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures A with the exception of China, where it was released by DMG Entertainment, and Germany and Austria, where it was released by Telemunchen Group. 76. The Chinese version of the film offers specially prepared bonus footage made exclusively for the Chinese audience. 50. This version features a 4-minute longer cut of the film, featuring product placement for various Chinese products, as well as an extended scene of Dr. Wu preparing to operate on Stark with his unnamed assistant played by Fan Bingbing. 128 136 The film was titled on screen as Iron Man 3. 137 138 The film's premiere happened at the Grand Rex in Paris, on April 14, 2013, with Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow in attendance. 139 140 While the UK premiere of the film was originally set for April 17, the funeral of former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher taking place in that date made the event be pushed to the following day. 141 Downey, Ben Kingsley, and Rebecca Hall were present for the advance screening at London's Odeon Leicester Square. 142 The El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood, Los Angeles, hosted the United States premiere of Iron Man 3 on April 24. 143 The film opened in 46 countries through April 22, 24 144 with the United States release, on 4,253 screens, happening 1 week later. 145 Regal Cinemas, AMC Theaters, and Carmike Cinemas put pre-sale tickets on hold, 2 weeks before the US premiere. The cinemas were in a contract dispute with Disney, who wished to receive more of the ticket sale profit than they currently did, largely based on the projected premiere weekend intake Iron Man 3 was expected to have. Carmike was the first to come to terms with Disney. 146 It was later reported that Cinemark Theaters had also stopped selling pre-sale tickets, and Regal Cinemas had removed all marketing material for the film from its locations. 147 On April 25, 2013, Regal, AMC and Disney ended their dispute, which allowed Regal and AMC to proceed with selling pre-sale tickets again. 148 149 IMAX screenings began on April 25, 2013, internationally and May 3 in the United States. 114 The film was shown in the 4DX format, featuring strobe lights, tilting seats, blowing wind, and fog and odor effects in selected countries. 150 151 In Japan, the technology opened its first room at the Corona World Theatre in Nagoya, Japan with the release of the film. 152 Iron Man 3 was the first film released in Phase 2 of the MCU. 153 Home Media. Iron Man 3 was released by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment in digital download form on September 3, 2013. This was followed by the film's release on Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray, DVD, digital copy, and on demand on September 24, 2013. 154 The home video release includes a Marvel one-shot short film titled Agent Carter starring Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter from Captain America, The First Avenger. 155 It debuted atop the DVD and Blu-ray charts in the United States, and second in the rental charts behind World War Z. 156 Iron Man 3 has earned more than $82 million in home media sales in the US. 157. The film was also collected in a 13-disc box set titled Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 2 Collection, which includes all of the Phase 2 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was released on December 8, 2015. 158. Reception. Box office. Iron Man 3 grossed $409 million in North America and $857.1 million in other countries for a worldwide total of $1.266 billion, outgrossing both of its predecessors combined. Worldwide, it became the fifth highest grossing film, the second highest grossing film of 2013 $159 the second highest grossing film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, behind Marvel's The Avengers, 160 and the highest grossing film of the Iron Man film series 161 as well as the fourth highest grossing comic book and superhero film overall. 162-163 It achieved the sixth largest worldwide opening weekend with $372.5 million. 164 On the weekend of May 3 to 5, 2013, the film set a record for the largest worldwide weekend in IMAX with $28.6 million. 165 on its 23rd day in theaters, Iron Man 3 became the 6th Disney film and the 16th film overall to reach $1 billion. 166 It is the first Iron Man film to gross over $1 billion, becoming the second Marvel film to do so after the Avengers 33 and was the fourth fastest film to reach the milestone. As part of the earlier distribution agreement made with Disney in 2010, Paramount Pictures received 9% of the box office gross generated by Iron Man 3. 167 Deadline Hollywood calculated the film's net profit as $391.8 million, when factoring together all expenses and revenues for the film. 135. By the end of its opening day, Iron Man 3 made $68.9 million, including $15.6 million from late Thursday shows, 145 achieving the 7th highest grossing opening day. 168 By the end of its opening weekend, the film earned $174.1 million, making it the second highest opening weekend of all time, behind The Avengers. Of the opening weekend audience, 55% was over 25 years old, and 61% were males, while only 45% of the gross originated from 3D screenings. Opening weekend earnings from IMAX amounted to $16.5 million. 169 It topped the box office during 2 consecutive weekends and achieved the 4th largest second weekend gross with $72.5 million. 170. The film earned $13.2 million on its opening day, Wednesday, April 24, 2013, from 12 countries. 171 Through Sunday, April 28, it earned a 5-day opening weekend of $198.4 million from 42 countries. 172 The film's opening weekend gross included $7.1 million from IMAX venues. 173 It set opening day records in the Philippines, surpassed by Man of Steel, Taiwan 171 Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia 174 China 175 Ukraine 176 Russia and the CIS 177 both single and opening day records in Thailand and South Africa 178 as well as a single day record in Hong Kong. 179 It also scored the second biggest opening day in Argentina, only behind Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. 180 The film set opening weekend records in the Asia-Pacific region, in Latin America, and in individual countries including Argentina, first surpassed by Fast and Furious 6, when including weekday previews, 181 Ecuador 182 Hong Kong, Indonesia, Vietnam, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore 172 Thailand, South Africa, and the United Arab Emirates. 176 It also achieved the second largest opening weekend in Mexico 183 Brazil 184 and Russia and the CIS. 177 In India, it had the second best opening weekend for a Hollywood film, after The Amazing Spider-Man. 185 IMAX opening weekend records were set in Taiwan, the Netherlands, Brazil, and the Philippines. 173 It is the highest grossing film in Indonesia, Malaysia 186 and Vietnam 187 and the second highest grossing film in Singapore and the Philippines, behind The Avengers. 188 It topped the weekend box office outside North America 3 consecutive times. 189. In China, where part of the production took place, the film set a midnight showings record with $2.1 million, as well as single-day and opening day records with $21.5 million, on its opening day. 175 Through its first Sunday, the film earned an opening weekend total of $64.10 million 190, making China's opening the largest for the film, followed by a $23.1 million opening in Russia and the CIS, and a $21.2 million opening in the UK, Ireland, and Malta. 191 with total earnings reaching $124 million. 192 It was the highest grossing American film in China in 2013, and the country is the film's highest grossing market after North America, followed by South Korea, $64.2 million, and the UK, Ireland, and Malta, $57.1 million. 187 191 Critical response. The review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes reported an approval rating of 79%, with an average score of 7/10, based on 331 reviews. The website's critical consensus reads, with the help of its charismatic lead, some impressive action sequences, and even a few surprises, Iron Man 3 is a witty, entertaining adventure and a strong addition to the Marvel canon. 193. Metacritic gave a weighted average score of 62 out of 100, based on 44 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 194 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale, the same score as both its predecessors. 195. In an early review by the trade magazine The Hollywood Reporter, Todd McCarthy said that, after nearly crashing and burning on his last solo flight in 2010, Iron Man returns refreshed and ready for action in this spirited third installment. That benefits immeasurably from the irreverent Quicksilver humor of co-writer and director Shane Black. 196 Calling the film darker and more serious than its predecessors, Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times credited Black for changing this billion-dollar-plus franchise's tone for the better while keeping the same actor as Tony Stark. There is quite a bit of Black's trademark attitude and humor here as well, things like a throwaway reference to the sci-fi classic Westworld and a goofy character who has Tony Stark's likeness tattooed on his forearm. Black and company throw all kinds of stuff at the audience, and though it doesn't all work, a lot of it does, and the attempt to be different and create unguessable twists is always appreciated. 197. Rafer Guzman of Newsday characterized Iron Man as the anti-Batman, all zip and zingers. He's also, suddenly, rather family-friendly. Some of the movie's best moments are shared by Stark and latchkey kid Harley, Ty Simpkins, who mock their budding father-son relationship while acting it out. 198. Psychology Today concluded that the film presented an accurate portrayal of Tony Stark's post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. 199 Michael Arbiter of Hollywood.com praised the film as Marvel's first true action comedy, commenting that Tony's camaraderie with preteen tech geek Harley Keener is one gigantic superhero/90s kid sidekick laugh riot. The friggin' kid's name is Harley Keener. Is there anything more 90s kid sidekick sounding than that? 200. Nick de Semlyen of the UK film magazine Empire had criticisms, even while giving the film 4 of 5 stars. Finding it a swinging caper with wit, balls, heart, and exploding baubles, he said the villainous super soldiers who can regenerate body parts and survive astounding damage are visually interesting, but their motivation is murky and unconvincing. 201. Likewise Joshua Rothkopf of Time Out New York bestowed 3 of 5 stars, saying, Black has massively upped the verbal sparring and kept the broad inventiveness of comic book malleability in mind. The most wonderful of Black's surprises harkens back to his 80s reputation for character revision and is simply too good to ruin here. But, he asked, hi, finally, are we down at the docks in the dark? No less for one of those lumbering climaxes involving swinging shipping cranes. The energy bleeds out of the film. It's as if the producers were scared the crowd would riot over not enough digital fakeness. 202. Reacting more negatively, Stephen Whitty of the Star Ledger found the film slickly enjoyable for the visual effects, but said, here's something empty about the film. Like Tony's suits, it's shiny and polished. But this time, there's nobody inside. This movie has neither the emotionalism of the first film, nor the flashy villains of the second. Tony's relationship with girlfriend Pepper Potts is in inexplicable jeopardy and then simply fixes itself. A supposedly cute kid sidekick, a true sign of authorial desperation, is introduced, and then dropped. 203. Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune echoed this, saying, "In a gleefully cynical bid for a preteen audience, a few years too young for the violence in Iron Man 3, I'd say, Stark befriends a bullied 8-year-old sick, Ty Simpkins, who becomes his tag-along and sometime savior. Stark no longer needs to be in the Iron Man suit. He's able to operate the thing remotely when needed. The movie's like that too. It's decent superhero blockbustering, but rather remote and vaguely second-hand. At this point, even with Black's flashes of black humor, the machinery is more or less taking care of itself, offering roughly half of the genial wit and enjoyment of the first Iron Man. Robert John Downey Jr., born April 4, 1965, is an American actor. His films as a leading actor have grossed over $14.3 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest-grossing actors of all time. Downey was the highest-paid actor in the world annually from 2013 to 2015. Known for his versatility across roles, he is the recipient of various accolades, including an Academy Award, a Daytime Emmy Award, 3 Golden Globe Awards, and 2 British Academy Film Awards. At age 5, Downey made his acting debut in his father Robert Downey Sr.'s film Pound, 1970. He rose to prominence by working with the Brat Pack for the teen films Weird Science, 1985, and Less Than Zero, 1987. His portrayal of Charlie Chaplin in the biopic Chaplin, 1992, earned him the BAFTA Award for Best Actor and an Academy Award nomination. After spending less than a year at a treatment facility on drug charges, Downey joined the television series Ally McBeal in 2000, earning a Golden Globe for his performance. Dismissed from the show in 2001 following further drug-related arrests, he entered a court-ordered rehabilitation program and has remained sober since 2003. After Mel Gibson paid his insurance bond, Downey made his film comeback with The Singing Detective, 2003. He gained global recognition for starring as Iron Man in 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe films, from Iron Man, 2008, to Avengers, Endgame, 2019. Downey starred as the titular detective in Sherlock Holmes, 2009, which earned him a Golden Globe. His portrayal of bureaucrat Louis Strauss in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, 2023, won him the Academy Award, Golden Globe, and BAFTA Award for Best Supporting Actor. In 2024, he was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for the miniseries The Sympathizer and made his Broadway debut in the title role of Ayad Actors McNeil. Time named Downey one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2008, and Forbes featured him on the Celebrity 100 in 2013 and 2014. He has pursued music, releasing the jazz-pop album The Futurist, 2004, which charted on the US Billboard 200. Divorced from singer Deborah Falconer, Downey has been married to film producer Susan Levin since 2005. They co-founded the production company Team Downey. Downey has 3 children, 1 with Falconer and 2 with Levin. In 2025, he was named one of the greatest film actors of the 21st century by The Independent. Early life and acting background. Robert John Downey Jr. was born in Manhattan, New York City, on April 4, 1965. His father, Robert Downey Sr. N.E. Elias, was a filmmaker with Lithuanian Jewish and Irish ancestry. 3 His mother, Elsie Ann, née Ford, was an actress who appeared in Downey Sr.'s films and had Scottish, German, and Swiss ancestry. 3 Downey's sister, Allison, is 2 years older than him. 6. Due to his father's film projects, Downey moved frequently during his childhood, living in places such as Woodstock, New York, London, England, New Mexico, California, Connecticut, and Greenwich Village in New York City. 7. From a young age, Downey was exposed to drugs. his father struggled with addiction, and his mother battled alcoholism. 7-9 His father introduced him to marijuana at either age 6-10 or 8-11. Downey Sr. later expressed regret for doing so. 12 Downey mentioned that using drugs with his father created an emotional connection between them, explaining that, "When my dad and I used drugs together, it was his way of showing love for me in the only manner he knew." 13-14 During his childhood, he appeared in small roles in his father's films. He made his acting debut at the age of 5, portraying a sick puppy in the absurdist comedy film Pound, 1970, and at 7, he appeared in the Western film Greaser's Palace, 1972. 15 At ages 11 and 12, he attended Staghetto Manor, a summer acting camp in upstate New York. 16. In school, Downey was a hyperactive child who tried to be cool, often teased by the older boys but popular with the girls. 16 His parents divorced when he was 12, afterward, he lived with his mother in a 5th-floor apartment in New York City. 17-18 While his sister stayed with their father, who later took her to a boarding school. 18 He attended Lincoln Junior High School for 8th grade and then Santa Monica High School for 9th and 10th grades, but dropped out in 1982. 19 At age 17, Downey relocated to his hometown to pursue acting full-time. 20 Working several jobs such as clearing tables at a Central Falls restaurant, working in a shoe store, and performing as living art at the nightclub area to support himself during auditions. 21-22 During this period, he also appeared in local theater and off-Broadway productions. 23. Career 1983 to 1995, early work and critical acclaim. Downey made his stage debut in 1983 with a 3-week run in Alms for the Middle Class at the Jiva Theater Center. 24 He then appeared in the short-lived off-Broadway musical American Passion at the Joyce Theater, produced by Norman Lear. 25 Downey's first credited film role was in Baby It's You, 1983, though most of his scenes were cut. 26 In his early film roles, he frequently portrayed misfit characters. 27 And his portrayals of punk-like figures in several 1980s coming-of-age films led to his occasional association with the Brat Pack. 28 In the drama film Firstborn, 1984, he played a supporting role as the teenage friend of the protagonist. 27 Downey then traveled to Los Angeles to film Tough Turf, 1985, in which he played James Spader's sidekick and a punk drummer. 26 Later that year, his role as a bully in John Hughes's Weird Science, 1985, marked his breakthrough. 29 Downey starred as a radical socialist in the Alan Metter comedy film Back to School, 1987. 27. A 25-year-old Downey dressed in a dark blazer and colorful shirt, being interviewed with a microphone. Downey at the premiere of Air America in 1990. In 1985, Downey joined the new, younger cast of Saturday Night Live, securing the audition with help from his Weird Science co-star and friend Anthony Michael Hall. 26 After a season of poor ratings and criticism of the cast's comedic ability, he and most of the new members were dismissed. 2030 Downey's first leading role came in The Pickup Artist, 1987, which faced criticism for being sexually irresponsible because of its portrayal of promiscuous sex during a period of heightened AIDS awareness. 31-32 He earned critical acclaim for his role as a drug-addicted rich boy whose life rapidly spirals out of control in the drama film Less Than Zero, 1987, the film adaptation of Bret Easton Ellis's 1985 novel. 33-34-35 Critic Roger Ebert called his performance so real, so subtle, and so observant that it's scary. 36 And Janet Maslin, in the New York Times, deemed it desperately moving. 35 Downey said that the role felt like the ghost of Christmas future for him, as his drug habit led him to become an exaggeration of the character in real life. 37. Shortly after completing Less Than Zero, Downey entered rehab for the first time, beginning a decade-long cycle of interventions and treatment stints that culminated in his 1996 arrest. 38 He starred alongside Kiefer Sutherland and Winona Ryder in the teen drama film 1969, 1988. 31 The film saw mixed reception. 39 Though his performance garnered good reviews from writers at Variety and Deseret News. 41 Downey went on to star in the films Chances Are, 1989, with Sybil Shepherd and Ryan O'Neal, Air America, 1990, with Mel Gibson, and Soap Dish, 1991, with Sally Field, Kevin Kline, Kathy Moriarty, and Whoopi Goldberg. Each saw varying critical success. 42 43 44 Downey trained extensively to prepare for his portrayal of comic actor and filmmaker Charlie Chaplin in the biopic Chaplin, 1992, learning to play the violin and tennis left-handed, and working with a coach to replicate Chaplin's accent and mannerisms. 45 Although the film was a box office bomb. 46 Downey's performance received critical acclaim. 47 It earned him the BAFTA Award for Best Actor, as well as Academy Award and Golden Globe Award nominations. 48 Oh come on, that's too much. You're going too far, Robert, you're ruining my movie. Forget the dumb dick idea. This isn't some slapstick bullshit. Oliver Stone recalled shouting at Downey during the filming of Natural Born Killers, 1994, 49. In 1993, Downey starred in Heart and Souls, playing a man possessed by multiple characters, a performance that critic Peter Travers praised as revealing his explosive talent for physical comedy. 51 In Only You, 1994, co-starring Marisa Tomei and Billy Zane, Downey played Peter Wright, a professional dancer who poses as the soulmate for Tomei's character Faith. 52 Norman Jewison, the film's director, cast Downey because he reminded him of Tony Curtis, charming with great comedic timing. 53 In preparation for his role of reporter Wayne Gale in Natural Born Killers, 1994, Downey shadowed Australian television shock journalist Steve Dunleavy, which helped him develop an Australian accent. 55 The film proved successful at the box office, grossing $110 million on a $34 million budget. 57 Throughout 1995, he took on a string of diverse roles, appearing in the period drama Restoration 58, the Shakespearean adaptation Richard III 59, and the family ensemble Home for the Holidays. 60. 1996 to 2001, addiction-related setbacks and Ally McBeal. In early 1996, concerned for Downey's well-being, Sean Penn and Dennis Quaid went to his home, took his car keys, and brought him to a rehab facility in Tucson, Arizona, but he checked himself out a few days later. 38 In June 1996, he was arrested for possession of heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, and an unloaded .357 Magnum handgun while speeding down Sunset Boulevard. A month later, while under the influence of a controlled substance, he entered a neighbor's home through an unlocked front door and fell asleep on their child's bed. 61 62 63 The family declined to press trespassing charges. 8 The 911 call made by the neighbor was later circulated online and became known as the Goldilocks incident. 64 In September 1996, he pleaded no contest. 2 months later, following a period in court-ordered rehab, he was sentenced to another 6 months of live-in rehabilitation, 3 years probation, and compulsory drug testing. 865. Mugshot of a 34-year-old Downey smiling slightly, holding a placard with his identification details. Mugshot from his arrest in August 1999. Mugshot of Downey, wearing a green shirt, looking directly at the camera with a slight smile. Mugshot from his arrest in April 2001. Downey starred in Two Girls and a Guy, 1997, portraying a duplicitous man who convinces each of two women that she is his only love. 50 After missing a court-ordered drug test in 1997, he spent 6 months in Los Angeles County Jail. 66 In January 1998, he was briefly released from jail to film U.S. Marshals. 67 Upon his full release, he entered a court-mandated 120-day rehab program and then starred in Black and White, 1999, playing Terry Doniger, the gay husband of a documentary filmmaker. 868 that year, after maintaining sobriety during the filming of Wonder Boys, 2000, Downey relapsed. At the time, he was facing financial difficulties and had lost his house in Malibu. 38 later that year, after missing another court-ordered drug test, he was arrested again. Despite his lawyer Robert Shapiro assembling the same legal team that had successfully defended O.J. Simpson in his criminal trial, Downey was sentenced to a 3-year prison term at the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility and State Prison in Corcoran. 69-70 at the time of his arrest, all of Downey's film projects had been completed and were nearing release. He had also been hired to voice the devil in the NBC animated series God, the Devil, and Bob, but was dismissed after failing to attend rehearsals. 70-71. After spending nearly a year in the Corcoran prison, Downey was unexpectedly released in 2000 on the condition of posting a $5,000 bail, when a judge ruled that his cumulative time in incarceration facilities from his initial 1996 arrests qualified him for early release. 12 a week after his release, he joined the cast of the television series Ally McBeal as a new love interest. 72 for his performance, he was nominated for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series and won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, Series, Miniseries, or Television Film. 73-74 In retrospect, Downey described his performance as overrated, deeming it his lowest point in terms of addictions. 37 Before the end of his first season on Ally McBeal, Downey was arrested on Thanksgiving in 2000, after police responded to an anonymous 911 call and searched his room at Merv Griffin's Hotel and Givenchy Spa in Palm Springs, California. He was found under the influence of a controlled substance and in possession of cocaine and Valium. 75-76 Despite facing a prison sentence of up to 4 years and 8 months if convicted, Downey committed to appear in at least 8 more episodes of Ally McBeal. 77. In April 2001, while on parole, Downey was found wandering barefoot in Culver City by a Los Angeles police officer. He was arrested on suspicion of being under the influence of drugs but was released a few hours later, even though tests confirmed the presence of cocaine in his system. 78-79 After the arrest, the producers of Ally McBeal ordered last-minute rewrites and reshoots before dismissing him from the series, despite his character having boosted the show's ratings. 80 In July 2001, Downey pleaded no contest to the Palm Springs charges, avoiding jail time. Instead, he was ordered into drug rehabilitation and sentenced to 3 years of probation under California Proposition 36, which had been enacted to direct nonviolent drug offenders toward treatment rather than prison. 1281 He spent a year in Wavelengths International, a court-mandated rehabilitation facility. By this time Downey was homeless, considered too great an insurance risk to be employable, and facing bankruptcy. 38. In December 2000, Downey's stepmother, Rosemary, told author Alex Treslowski of People that Downey had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder a few years ago, adding that this was the reason he has a hard time staying sober. What hasn't been tried is medication and intensive psychotherapy. 82 Los Angeles psychiatrist Manajani Kokhtar said she had received a letter from Downey in 1999 during his incarceration at Corcoran II, asking for advice regarding his condition. She stated that no one had done a complete psychiatric evaluation on him. I asked him flat out if he thought he was bipolar, and he said, "Oh yeah. There are times I spend a lot of money and I'm hyperactive, and there are other times I'm down." 82. 2001 to 2007, Recovery and Comeback. I said, "You know what? I don't think I can continue doing this." And I reached out for help, and I ran with it. You can reach out for help in kind of a half-assed way and you'll get it and you won't take advantage of it. It's not that difficult to overcome these seemingly ghastly problems. What's hard is to decide to do it. Downey speaking to Oprah Winfrey in November 2004. 83. After 5 years of substance abuse, arrests, and relapse, Downey began working toward a full recovery in 2001. 84. 85. His first acting job after rehabilitation came in August, when he appeared lip-syncing in the music video for Elton John's single I Want Love, directed by Sam Taylor Wood. 2 years later, he returned to film with The Singing Detective, 2003, directed by his back-to-school co-star Keith Gordon, after Mel Gibson paid his insurance bond, allowing him to be cast. 86. 87. He played Dan Dark, a paralyzed, suffering pulp novelist who hallucinates and drifts between reality and fantasy. 50. Although the film received mixed reviews, Downey regarded it as a personal achievement. 50. 88. For Gothica, 2003, producer Joel Silver withheld 40% of Downey's salary until production was completed as protection against potential issues related to his addiction. 89. 90. Silver secured Downey the lead role in Shane Black's directorial debut, the comedy thriller Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, 2005. 91. Downey received positive reviews for his performance. Mike Russell, writing in The Oregonian, called it one of his most enjoyable performances. 92. And a writer for The Age deemed it a terrific comic performance. 93. Downey appeared in a range of leading and supporting roles, gaining particular recognition for his performances in several semi-independent films. In Good Night, and Good Luck, 2005, he portrayed a CBS journalist and editor secretly married to a co-worker, a relationship concealed due to the network's policy prohibiting employees from marrying one another. 94. His role as a drug addict in Richard Linklater's dystopian, rotoscope film A Scanner Darkly, 2006, was praised. 95. Travers called his performance the film's flashiest and most ferociously entertaining. 96. And critic J. Hoberman regarded it as the performance to beat that year. 97. Downey's character in Stephen Shainberg's fictional biographical drama Fur, 2006, was a composite representing the two most significant influences on Diane Arbus's professional life, Lizette Model and Marvin Israel. 98. Fur was poorly received by critics. 99. But they lauded Downey's performance. 100. 101. In 2005, Downey voiced the character of Patrick Pewterschmidt for an episode of Family Guy titled The Fat Guy Strangler. 102. 103. That year, Downey signed a deal with HarperCollins to publish a memoir, which he described as a candid account of his life and career. In 2008, he returned his advance and cancelled the project without explanation. 104. In 2007, he appeared in David Fincher's mystery thriller Zodiac, based on true events, portraying San Francisco Chronicle journalist Paul Avery, who covered the Zodiac killer case. 105. 106. Downey's performance was critically acclaimed. 107. A Tuscaloosa news writer deemed it one of his best. 108. And critic Manala Dargis remarked that he was at the top of his performance game. 109. 2008 to 2019, commercial success and stardom as Iron Man. Downey smiling warmly, dressed in a plaid suit jacket with a white shirt and a black tie. Downey at an event for Iron Man in 2008. In 2006, Downey was cast as the titular character in Iron Man, a superhero film. 110. 111. Director Jon Favreau explained that although Downey was not the most obvious choice, he understood what makes the character tick. He found a lot of his own life experience in Tony Stark. 112. Favreau strongly advocated for Downey's casting, believing he could elevate the film's quality and generate widespread audience interest, much like Johnny Depp had done for the Pirates of the Caribbean series. 61. 113. 114. Downey gained more than 20 pounds, 9 kilograms, of muscle over 5 months to achieve the physicality required for the part. 115. Iron Man was released on May 2, 2008, in the US. 116. It became the 8th highest grossing film of 2008, earning more than $585 million worldwide against a production budget of $130 million. 61 117 118. In Iron Man, Downey portrayed Tony Stark, a wealthy industrialist who is kidnapped and forced to build a deadly missile, only to instead construct a suit of armor that transforms him into the superhero Iron Man. 119. Both the film and Downey's performance were acclaimed by critics. 120, many of whom considered his portrayal the standout element of Iron Man and credited it with catapulting him to global stardom. 121 122 123. Ebert wrote that it's Robert Downey Jr. who powers the lift-off, separating this from most other superhero movies. 124. And, in a retrospective Variety article, Zach Sharf credited Downey's charisma with making Iron Man both a critical and commercial success. 125. By October 2008, Downey had signed on to reprise his role in 2 sequels to Iron Man and in the Avengers, 2012, the latter of which featured the superhero team that Stark joins, based on Marvel's comic book series of the same name. 126. He first reprised the role with a brief appearance as Stark in the film The Incredible Hulk, 2008, as part of Marvel Studios' initiative to depict the same Marvel universe on film by providing continuity among the films. 127. Downey starred in Tropic Thunder alongside Ben Stiller and Jack Black, the former of whom also directed the film. 128. The 3 actors portray exaggerated Hollywood archetypes, Downey playing Kirk Lazarus, a self-absorbed, multi-Oscar-winning Australian method actor starring in an overblown Vietnam War film titled Tropic Thunder. 129 130. To embody his character, African-American platoon Sergeant Lincoln Osiris, Lazarus undergoes a controversial skin pigmentation procedure, requiring Downey to wear dark makeup and a wig. 131 132 133. Released in August 2008. 134. Tropic Thunder opened atop the American box office and retained the #1 position for 3 consecutive weeks, eventually grossing $195 million worldwide on a budget of about $90 million. 135 136. For his portrayal of Lazarus, Downey was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. 137. He then portrayed Steve Lopez in the biopic The Soloist, 2009, a Los Angeles Times columnist who discovers a homeless man playing a violin with virtuoso skill. 138. Downey played the titular detective in Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes, 2009. 139. The Times praised the lead performances, describing Downey as terrific and commending Ritchie for eliciting a career-best performance from Jude Law, though it noted that their double acts struggled to sustain an overlong film. 140. Sherlock Holmes became the 8th highest-grossing film of 2009 and won Downey the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. 141 142. Downey reprised his role as Stark in Iron Man 2, the first of 2 planned sequels to Iron Man. 143. Released in May 2010 in the US. 144. The film grossed over $623 million worldwide, ranking as the 7th highest grossing film of the year. 126. Set 6 months after Iron Man. 145. The film follows Stark as he rejects government demands to share his technology, while facing the vengeful scientist Ivan Vanko. 146 147. Ebert called Downey's performance intriguing and unexpected, stating that he doesn't behave like most superheroes, he lacks the psychic weight and gravitas. 148. Downey, standing behind a podium at a conference or event, wearing glasses and a gray checkered blazer over a patterned shirt with a pocket square. Downey speaking at the 2019 Disney Legends Awards. Downey's other film role of 2010 was in Due Date, which was filmed across several locations in the US, including Georgia, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. 149. In it, He played an architect trying to get from Atlanta to Los Angeles in time for his wife's scheduled cesarean section. 150. The film was a box office success, earning over $211 million on a budget of $65 million. 151. 152. That year, Downey and his wife Susan opened their own production company called Team Downey. 153. Downey reprised his role as Sherlock Holmes in Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, 2011, the sequel to the 2009 film. 154. In A Game of Shadows, he investigates a conspiracy led by his nemesis, Professor Moriarty, and works to prevent an impending world war. 155. 156. Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter lauded the film's more mannered shenanigans, whose action-oriented antics play straight to modern audiences' tastes. 157. Downey reprised the role of Stark in The Avengers, 2012. In the film, the Avengers assemble to stop Loki from conquering Earth using the Tesseract Node 1 to open a portal for an alien invasion. 159. The film was both a critical and commercial success, grossing over $1.52 billion. It became the third highest grossing film of all time. 160. 161. 162. In Iron Man 3, 2013, Stark faces threats from a terrorist known as the Mandarin while dealing with the aftermath of previous events and developing new technology to confront his enemies. 163. Iron Man 3 grossed $1.215 billion, making it the fifth highest grossing film of all time upon release. 164. 165. He then portrayed a Chicago lawyer in The Judge, 2014, the first production by Team Downey. 166. 167. He reprised the role as Tony Stark in Avengers, Age of Ultron, 2015, in which Stark creates Ultron as a flawed global defense artificial intelligence and then leads the Avengers in their efforts to stop it, ultimately helping to bring Vision to life and defeat Ultron. 168. 169. Age of Ultron garnered $1.405 billion in revenue to become the fifth highest grossing film in history. 170. In Captain America, Civil War, 2016, Stark backs government control of the Avengers, recruits Spider-Man, and ends up fighting Captain America and Bucky after discovering the latter killed his parents. 171. 159. Stark continues mentoring Spider-Man in Spider-Man, Homecoming, 2017, 172. And the two team up in Avengers, Infinity War, 2018, alongside Doctor Strange to fight Thanos on Titan, where Stark devises a plan to remove the Infinity Gauntlet, survives a brutal stabbing, and witnesses half his allies disintegrate in the snap. 173. 174. 175. He helps invent time travel to retrieve the Infinity Stones in Avengers, Endgame, 2019, ultimately sacrificing his life by snapping his fingers to destroy Thanos and his army, saving the universe. 176. 177. 178. Endgame became the first superhero film to gross over $2 billion worldwide. 179. And was the highest grossing film of all time until it was surpassed by Avatar, 2009, due to its 2021 re-release in China. 180. 181. 2020, present, Oppenheimer and expansion. In 2020, Downey starred in Stephen Gaghan's Dolittle, portraying the titular 19th-century Welsh veterinarian who can communicate with animals. 182. 183. The second film produced by Team Downey, it was a box office disappointment and received largely negative reviews, critics citing its excessive length and lackluster execution. 184. In 2023, Downey portrayed the antagonistic bureaucrat Lewis Strauss in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. 185. 186. He accepted a pay cut for the role, earning $4 million instead of his usual $10 to $20 million upfront salary. 187 Downey later called Oppenheimer the best film he had appeared in. 188 Both the biopic and his performance received widespread critical acclaim. 189 190 191 For his role, he won the Golden Globe 192 BAFTA 193 Screen Actors Guild 194 Critics' Choice 195 and Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. 196 That year, Downey hosted the television series Downey's Dream Cars, in which he and his team converted several of his vehicles from gas to electric. 197 The show won Downey the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lifestyle Program. 198. Downey next starred in a 2024 television adaptation of Viet Thanh Nguyen's historical satire novel The Sympathizer on HBO, portraying 5 supporting antagonistic roles representing the American establishment. 199 His multi-role performance earned him a Primetime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. 200 Downey made his Broadway debut in McNeil, from playwright Ayad Akhtar, playing Jacob McNeil, a gifted novelist with a difficult family life and a potentially problematic interest in artificial intelligence. Previews began on September 5, 2024, and opened on September 30 at Lincoln Center's Vivian Beaumont Theater, playing through November 24. 201 In July 2024 at San Diego Comic-Con, it was announced that Downey would return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Victor Von Doom/Dr. Doom in the upcoming films Avengers, Doomsday, 2026, and Avengers, Secret Wars, 2027. 202. Other ventures. Music. Downey has ventured into music. He has sung on several soundtracks for his films, including Chaplin 203 Too Much Sun 204 Two Girls and a Guy 204 Friends and Lovers 205 and The Singing Detective. 205 On November 23, 2004, he released his only studio album, The Futurist. 206 A jazz pop infused record 207 208 The Futurist was produced by Jonathan Elias and Mark Hudson. Downey played the piano on some of the tracks. 209 The album debuted at number 121 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling 16,000 copies in its first week. 210 211 A USA Today critic opined that the album could be perceived as pretentious or simply dull after a while, but there is a moody musicality to tracks such as Man Like Me and Details. 212. While promoting Tropic Thunder, Downey and his co-stars Ben Stiller and Jack Black were backup singers for the Pips to Gladys Knight singing Midnight Train to Georgia for the season 7 finale of American Idol in 2008.